Hello everyone, so it's that time of the month again. I'm currently 4 months on testosterone and I'm super happy about it. I'm super excited. So this video again is going to list all the changes that I've experienced this month. Just before we get into the changes, I need to explain something that's sort of been going on in the background of these videos in terms of complications with my body sort of caused by testosterone, I think. So December, just before I came back to uni, trigger warning, I'm gonna mention the period word. It doesn't offend me, but you know, just a trigger warning for some people. If they don't want to hear that, you can skip ahead. But I started my period again after ages. Like, I'm on the progesterone only pill, which is meant to like stop your periods, but I think for some reason just the testosterone reacted with it and it's just not working anymore. So since December, like basically New Year, I've been constantly spotting, like my period is constantly there. It's not a bad thing. Like, I don't need to wear a pad, it's just sort of inside. It's really weird to explain. So I didn't really know what was sort of going on with my body and I still don't. So it's not scary, but I'm quite worried at the moment. So when I had my 2 months on T blood tests, they recommended that I have an ultrasound to see if I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is what I already knew that I was going to do. The endocrinologist said this at my first appointment when they prescribed me hormones. So I had that ultrasound, but whilst I was there, they also checked like my abdomen, they checked my liver. They basically did a massive ultrasound, basically checked everything because there was something wrong with like my cholesterol. It said it was too high. I don't know why, because last time I was told that I had high cholesterol, I changed my diet and lifestyle. So I was quite concerned as to why that was still happening. I still am, but it might have just been a blip. It might have just been the testosterone just, you know, changing things. So I get to see if any of that has changed on my next blood test, which I think is April, because it's 2 months after when I up my dose, I think, so it should be April time. And at those tests I'm also going to get liver screening blood tests as well, just to make sure that everything's fine with my liver, because they said there could be something wrong with it. They don't think there is, but it's just nice to get checked out. So that was fine. The slightly concerning thing for me is when I had my ultrasound, the guy that did it, he was like, oh, you've got quite a thick endometrial lining. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even know what endometrial lining was. From my understanding, it's the lining in your womb. And I know that when I discussed with my endocrinologist, he said that your womb lining can become thicker. So I had to have a call with my doctor after I got the ultrasound results back, and they said that my endometrial lining was, I think, 11 millimeters, and the normal thickness is between 5 millimeters and like 7, or like, I don't know. Basically, I'm just in the range of endometrial hyperplasia, which from my understanding, it's not endometrial cancer, but sometimes it can develop into it. So the course of action for that would be for me to have an early hysterectomy. Now, as a trans guy, most people do get hysterectomies because what happens over time is if you're not using your womb, your uterus, like your ovaries, like if they're not being in use, they sort of tends to be complications, or like if you don't need them, just have them out. Like, they used to suggest that you have it really soon after you start testosterone, but now there is sort of no need. But I'm sort of scared at the thought of that surgery. Like, the thought of top surgery does still scare me, but since I've been on testosterone, I've been wanting it more now. So if that is the case, it's not the end of the world. I mean, quite a lot of trans men do have hysterectomies anyway, but obviously it might just be a little earlier than I thought. Basically, I've now been referred to a gynecologist. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. I'm quite nervous, really, because, you know, that's quite a big thing. I don't know if they're gonna have a look down there. Like, I don't know. Obviously, I'll let you know what happened, but that's basically to just see if anything is wrong in, like, my womb or something, because for some reason I've been getting these random like stabbing pains that are so painful. Like, I literally woke up from my sleep in agony, like excruciating pain, and I had no idea where it had come from. I'd never felt pain like that before. So I'm glad that they are taking it seriously and that it's being looked at. But again, I'm quite scared because the thought of a gynecologist anyway is scary, but a gynecologist as a trans man, when your anatomy doesn't match what they're going to be used to, is even more scary. But that's going ahead now. I've got to wait for an appointment, but they've referred me to the gynecologist down here in Cornwall now. And also, my GP messaged Dr. Coxon, my endocrinologist, just to ask his advice on what to do about the bleeding. So he suggested that I come off the Testosterone tablet, which is what I was on, which you take 3 times a day. And I've just picked up my prescription today, and now I'm on Progesterone, which is meant to be the same thing. And he said that quite a lot of people switch to that as trans guys. So hopefully that will stop the spotting, and hopefully my periods do not come back again, because, you know, it's not very nice. Yeah, I don't want it. It's just a bit of a pain now because the tablets were working and then all of a sudden they just sort of stopped working. Again, I'll let you know how that goes when I've started it. I'm gonna start it tomorrow and hopefully it works. He said that it is very good. I'm not too sure about the side effects though, because I know 100% that the Testosterone tablet made me put on weight. I look at photos, I think I went on it in year 10. In year 9, I was a lot skinnier. I put on a lot of body weight, and I've managed to work with that now in terms of weight loss. I've managed to work out how to still lose weight whilst on that pill. So I'm hoping it's sort of the same, the Progesterone, and not something different, because as you guys know, I'm on a weight loss journey for summer. We're getting fit for summer again. So that was basically the life update. I just wanted to make sure I had all the info before I let you all know. That's been going on since December, and then it's sort of been summed up literally yesterday, and now I'm just waiting for my referral. Now we can get on to the exciting bit, which is the changes that I've noticed this month. So as usual, the first one is the voice change. Now, I'm just so happy, like my voice just is constantly getting deeper and deeper. Everyone's noticing it now. And for some reason, I don't know why, I think it's just because I didn't like my voice pre-T. Most people don't, but like I find it's given me a lot more confidence in sort of speaking up for myself and not being a pushover, and actually speaking to people that I wouldn't know and getting to know them and going over to new people. Like with my job, I'm an ambassador for the uni, so I have to speak to all sorts of people. And before I started testosterone, I probably wouldn't have been as confident to approach people I don't know, but now I do. It's really good. I've made loads of new friends. It's amazing. So here's a comparison of my voice from pre-T all the way to now. This is my voice pre-T. This is my voice 1 month on T. This is my voice 2 months on T. This is my voice 3 months on T. This is my voice 4 months on T. So as you can see, there is a massive change. I genuinely can't even, I don't even think I could go back to how high my voice used to be. I was lucky because it was never like really high. Like I'd say it was like androgynous sort of level, but I generally don't think I could go back to how sort of high it was at the end of my words and everything. There's definitely a lot more bass, there's a lot more deepness in my voice now, especially at the end of my sentences. I feel it in my throat. It's so hard to explain, but I feel it sort of rumble, and like I feel the deepness coming out of my mouth. Like I feel it in my throat, and it makes me so happy. Like honestly, I'm so glad it's happening. And like I said in the last video, I genuinely think that it's going at the right pace, that my voice will get progressively deeper. I started off on quite a low dose. I've upped it now. I might even need to up it again. I don't know. I'll have to see after my blood results. But at the moment, my voice is consistently getting deeper at the right time frames. So I'm just really happy about it. So in terms of my face, I always mention this. My eyebrows, I don't actually know if they've got thicker or darker. They always just seem to fill in a little bit more every time I take my comparison photos. So here's a photo of it 3 months on T compared to now. I don't know, there's just sort of like subtle changes. And in terms of my face, again, I've just been getting really spotty. I don't know if it's because the face mask that I wear at work, or it's just my skin that's getting oily. Like I've got spots up here, I've got them here, like I've got the spots like where I wouldn't tend to get them. Again, it's fine, everyone gets spots, like I said. It just seems to be getting slightly worse. I wouldn't say it's acne yet, just around here as well, it gets very spotty. And actually, I don't know how to explain this really, but my skin, it's not smooth anymore. Like my skin used to be like really smooth, sort of like, I'd describe how it looked in photos as like baby skin. Now it's a lot more rough. It looks like a person who is like my age. Like doesn't look like a child basically. My skin fits my age now. I don't know if that makes any sense, but to me it does. It means sort of like it's got like more spotty. I don't know, it just seems like it fits me more in terms of like the texture now. I genuinely don't even know if I'm making sense right now. I've tried to explain this to everyone so many times and they're all like, what? Anyway, another exciting thing about my face is my little moustache. Now, I've been noticing it for 2 months now, but when I took my comparison photos, it's very prominent now. I've got my little hairs here. I'll compare my like little moustache photo to the one I took ages ago. It's coming in slowly. Like I said, I don't think I'm blessed with facial hair. I am noticing it a bit more now, like in the flash and in the comparison. It is sort of like on my chin, like you'll see it in that photo on my chin. You can see my little baby hairs coming through because I genuinely didn't even think I had like baby hairs on my face. I don't know, it's cool. It's something that I'm looking forward to. It's definitely a lot more noticeable for me now when I look in the mirror, so I was really excited for that again. Talking about hair and body hair, I was like working out the other day and my flatmate, bless her, she's amazing. She's the one, you know, sometimes my videos are out of focus. Yeah, that's because she's not here, so I'm praying this one's in focus. But she's the one that helps me focus this camera. Imagine a TV student who can't even focus his own camera. We gotta love it. But anyway, I was working out in the kitchen and I was doing like overhead, you know, tricep extensions, and she was like, oh my god, Levi, You've got way more armpit hair now. So I guess I've got more armpit hair. It's sort of something that I noticed, but I don't really like note down because I don't know. I don't think it's changed that much, but it clearly has for someone else to notice it. So I've got more armpit hair. Yay. I've also got more leg hair. It's so hard to show in photos, and it's like, it's really weird, like when you explain it to your friends, like because you look down at your legs, you can see it, right? But no one else can see it, especially with me, because I've got blonde hair, you cannot see my leg hair. But genuinely, from going from having like minimal hairs on my legs, my hairs now feel like so much more hairier than they were. But obviously they don't look hairy because to other people they're not as hairy as what other people's are. But for me, it's a massive change. I love to see it. When I look down at my legs, I'm like, wow, I'm becoming more manly, you know? Manly Levi. So this is my leg hair 3 months on T compared to now. I'm not too sure if there's that much difference that you can see in the camera, but for me, I've noticed it, especially when some of my hair's growing black but my hair's blonde. I'm like, wow, there's a black hair on my leg. Like, it's funny. I'll just come up with the most randomest things sometimes when I'm in the kitchen with my flatmates. And the same with my arm hair. Again, you cannot see it in the camera, but yeah, my arm hair still seems to be coming in, and it's more actually not my forearms. It's actually like I'm more hairier, like up here on my shoulders, like up here. It's like high. I see like, especially if I'm working out in the sun, I see all my hairs. I'm like, oh, I've got hairy up here now. Here's a comparison of my arm hair from 3 months on T until now. So that's exciting. A thing I mentioned in the last video is back knee. I was definitely right, because my back feels a lot, especially like the top of my back here, it feels a lot more rough. And then when I took my comparison photos, I was like, yeah, your skin is not smooth anymore. Like, you've got spots, your skin is a different color, like stretch marks, got everything going. I suppose you can see my back knee in my back comparison. So talking again about my back seems to have got wider. Now, to be fair, I think it's quite hard to see in these two photos, but my back has definitely got wider since like 3 months on T. It's got more like shape, like a V shape as well. I think where I've been working out my lats a lot more, we're finally getting that structure. So my shoulders, as I mentioned before, are already quite broad. So I'm really happy about that it's finally going in the direction of having like a good muscular back. Obviously it's not going to be very muscular because I do train my back, but there's sort of limited things, like I can't do a lat pull down because the gyms are shut and I can't afford the gym at the moment anyway. I'm still working on it. My back somehow still seems to be growing. Also, something that I mentioned over on Instagram is the fact that even though I was but even though I had in my head that testosterone was going to make me put on loads of weight, it's actually done the opposite. And I think because I went in with that mindset of, right, I'm going to put on muscle weight, so let's lose fat and build muscle at the same time. And somehow it seems to be working out for me at the moment, because I lost 2 kilograms in the last month, but I still have more muscle than I do body fat. So my body fat percentage is slowly dropping and my muscle is going up. So it's a good situation for me at the moment. I don't know how hard that's going to be to maintain, especially now that I'm going home for Easter for 2 weeks where I do not have my weights. We're gonna be doing loads of HIIT training and running and skipping, but I'm really happy that somehow I managed to optimize the fact that I was gonna put on weight and changed it more into sort of the muscle category whilst trying to lose fat as well. So at the moment, my body has a lot more structure to it now, which is cool. I'm loving it. So here's a photo of my back 3 months on T compared to now. That's all the physical changes that I noticed this month. Now we have emotional changes, and oh my gosh, there has been a lot. I was naive to the fact that hormones would change your emotions so much. Like this month it's been a hard one, you know? I don't know what it is. Well, obviously it's just the testosterone in my body. Like hormones are a massive thing, and yeah, they will affect your mental health and things like that. But yeah, this month was hard for me. It's genuinely just because I keep it experiencing really bad like mood swings. I'll wake up in the morning and be like, oh my god, yes, today's gonna be such a good day, and then something will happen and my mindset will just change, like literally like that. I'll just be like, right, I don't want to do this anymore, like don't talk to me, I'm just gonna go in my room, stay away from everyone, like my life's so hard, like blah blah blah, and then I'll be constantly worrying about my work. Here's an example. So we had to do a camera plan and storyboards for a drama scene we were filming. I thought mine was quite good, it made sense, and then when I joined the call, like I was really happy. I joined the call and they were like, no Levi, this doesn't work, your lighting does not work, you can't have an actor sat by the window. And for some reason, hearing that after I put so much work, like effort into that, it really annoyed me. Like I was in such a bad mood. I just don't take criticism well anymore either. I don't like being told what to do anymore. It makes me laugh because this is what my dad was like. He didn't like being told what to do, and everyone's literally like, Levi, you're becoming your dad. I don't mean to, but you know, clearly that's what's happening. Mood swings are something that you should just be aware of, because I didn't realize how many I would have this month. I'm okay now. Like I was contacting my mum, just letting her know how I was, and I told my flatmates and they were like, yeah, that's completely understandable. So I was like, I'm really sorry if I do just shout at you at some point. My anger just gets too much sometimes and I have to let it out, and unfortunately you're the person that's there, you're the person that hasn't washed your dishes or has made the kitchen really messy after I've cleaned it, so you're gonna get all the anger. But sometimes it is good to let out your anger. We're only human at the end of the day. It does make me feel a lot better when I let it out. That's one thing I've learned from just my entire gender transition, is to just be open, just talk about things. It's so much better if you share your emotions, if you share what you're thinking, because if you bottle it up inside, then it's just gonna go badly, isn't it? It's gonna explode and you're just not gonna be able to deal with it. At least if you share it with someone, they can sort of share what you're experiencing as well, and you've sort of lightened the load of your emotions a bit and put it on them so they're aware and they sort of take some of it off of you. I don't know. I just think that talking to people really does help, and you should definitely get used to doing that. I had to talk a lot throughout my gender transition, especially with the NHS. Not so much going privately, but it's just good to talk about things. And again, that's literally why I make this channel, just so people, you know, if they've got questions, or like if I've mentioned something that nobody else has mentioned, you know, like I'm educating people. I just find videos also a really good way of communicating my own thoughts, so that's literally why I make them. So that's all the changes that I experienced this month. As I said before, I knew there wouldn't be as many. It's weird to think I actually had more emotional than physical changes this month, but hormones affect you in all different kinds of ways. As always, I hope this video was helpful to some of you. I've had some feedback on my videos saying that they are helpful, so I'm gonna keep going with them. I just like documenting all my changes, and I think it's just an amazing thing to be able to look back on and see how much you have changed. So yeah, obviously I'm gonna keep going with these videos. Like I've mentioned in many of my videos, if you want to see more sort of content from me that's transition based, I do have a transition Insta, my transition account, where I post pictures of my transition and like more comparisons, and also my voice change, which is always uploaded earlier than this video. So if you do want to follow it, it's at translevi. go follow it. It's a private Instagram, but I will accept you. If you have any questions, as always, just pop them down in the comments or just message me if you know me, you know, and I'll be happy to reply and give you some advice or just, you know, have a chat. I'm a really friendly person. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video, and I hope to see you next month when I'll have even more changes to share.